added my sister to our parents. 3 years later, she still doesn't talk to me. She came out to me on a Tuesday night, just the two of us sitting on my kitchen floor eating cereal late. It was maybe 11 o'clock. We'd been hanging out all day. We did that back then, spent whole Saturdays together, watched bad reality TV, drove nowhere in particular. It felt like we were kids again. And then she got quiet, looked at me, and said she needed to tell me something she'd never told anyone. She said she'd been holding it for years. I was the first person she told. I remember exactly how I felt. I remember the way the kitchen light buzzed. I remember setting my bowl down on the floor very carefully, like the sound of it would break something. I remember looking at her face and she was terrified, sitting there with her hands in her lap and her shoulders pulled in like she was bracing for something, like she already knew what was coming. And I hate that. I hate that she knew. I hate that she read me before I even opened my mouth. I was deep in the church back then, not just attending. I mean, I was in it. I organized the youth groups, planned the service events, led the women's circle every other Wednesday. I taught my kids that our faith was everything, that it wasn't just what we believed, it was who we were. And I believed that completely. I'm not saying it to excuse anything. I'm saying it because I want you to understand how fast my brain moved in that moment, how automatic it was. She finished her sentence and something in me just shut off. I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I didn't make a scene. I just got very still and told her I needed to pray about it. That's what I said. Like she'd asked me a question. Like she hadn't just handed me the most vulnerable thing she had. She started crying. She asked me please not to tell our parents. She said she wasn't ready. She needed time. I told her I understood and I would never do anything without talking to her first. I called our mom before my sister even got to her car. I've turned that over in my head 1,000 times. I think part of me wanted permission, wanted someone to tell me I'd done the right thing by pulling away. What I did instead was burn my sister's life down and wait for applause. My parents called her that same night. My dad went to her apartment. I found out later he stood in her doorway and told her she was choosing sin and needed to repent or she wasn't welcome home. My mom just stopped returning her calls. Our bishop told the family to create distance. Those were his exact words. Create distance. Like she was a problem to be managed. Like the girl I grew up with, the one who drove 4 hours to be at my hospital when I had my second kid, was just a situation. She called me once after that night. Just once. I watched my phone light up with her name and I let it ring. I let it go to voicemail. I told myself I'd listen later when I was in the right headspace. Later became the next day. The next day became a week. The week became 8 months. I finally pressed play sitting in my car in a parking lot on a Wednesday afternoon with nowhere I needed to be. She wasn't angry. That's the thing that broke me. She wasn't screaming. She just sounded exhausted. She said she didn't understand what she'd done wrong. Said she'd thought about it for days and genuinely couldn't figure out what she'd done to make me treat her like this. And then she said she loved me. She said it like she wasn't sure she was allowed to anymore. Then the message ended. I sat in that parking lot for 40 minutes. Things shifted slowly after that. Not dramatic. More like a slow leak. Questions I'd been ignoring got louder. I'd sit through a service and hear something that used to comfort me and feel sick instead. I kept seeing her face in my kitchen. That braced, knowing look. 2 years ago, I stopped going. No announcement. I just stopped. I wrote her a letter first. Handwritten, 4 pages. Told her everything. What I'd done. Why. What I understood now that I hadn't then. I told her I wasn't asking for anything. I just needed her to know that I knew. No response. I texted her on her birthday. Happy birthday. I love you. I'm sorry. Nothing. I emailed her twice. Found her new address through a cousin. Wrote 3 paragraphs. Stared at my inbox for 2 weeks straight. Nothing. Last month, I found out she moved across the country about a year ago. She works nights in the ICU now, saving people who have no idea who she is. She never responded to a single thing I sent, and I understand that. She doesn't owe me closure. She doesn't owe me the chance to feel better about what I did. She gave me her trust on a Tuesday night on a kitchen floor, and I took it straight to our mother before she'd even made it home. I just keep thinking about how she sat there with her shoulders rolled in, how she already knew, how she loved me enough to try anyway, and I used that like a weapon.